Hello everybody, Francesco here. Today I want to talk about happiness in tablets. My name is Francesco and I was very happy. I was born happy, I was born free. At one point in my life I became fearful, afraid, and I started distracting from that fear by eating, drinking, smoking, doing all sorts of things, and that made my fear even worse. So, and I lost my happiness, I lost my intelligence, I lost my health, and at one point I realized I don't want this. I want to go back to be healthy and happy. So I started changing. I started removing all these things. I stopped drinking. I stopped doing a lot of things. I stopped smoking. I started eating differently. So I regained my health. I regained my inner peace. But I'm still on the way to find my real, truthful happiness, which I believe is there. So the topic today I want to speak about is this happiness in tablets. What do I mean? I mean that I realized that people live in a way that they take this happiness in tablets. What do I mean? So there is this philosopher, English writer called Adolf Huxley, who wrote uh, one of this story called The Brave New World. And in this Brave New World, which was written in 1932, is basically now describing almost society today. Almost. Not yet, but it will be. And I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but one of the main thing is this, that people, they were all happy. But how they were happy? They were going around with these little pills that they would take every time they feel bad. They would take these pills and feel happy, and everybody would have these pills. The government would provide these pills for them, and what happened is that at one point they didn't have access to these pills, and everybody went completely crazy. And there you could have seen how people weren't happy. They were just using these things to feel happy, to suppress down all their suffering. And this is what I believe it's happening right now. And the way I discovered is that uh, um, when it was in 2014, I went to this trip in Thailand, learned about permaculture, and lived with a bunch of people in this community. And there was this guy who was doing Vipassana meditation, and one day he invited me to do it with him. And it was about sitting down for 1 hour with my eyes closed and not moving. And I would never realize, like before, how much it was hard to stay with myself, stay still and without moving. And I couldn't do it, and it was so hard. And then I started wondering, why is it so hard? Why I cannot be with myself, and why do I need to do something? Why I cannot stay with myself? And so I was advised to do this retreat, Vipassana retreat, which I did. Since then, I did for 3 times. And in this retreat, it was about staying 10 days and meditate basically 12 hours a day. And each session, it was 1 hour straight, no moving, just observing your breath. And I realized how much was going on with me. I realized how much suffering there was in me that I needed to distract from every time with these little tablets, with these little pills, which at that time it was, smoking, drinking, eating something, or watching something. And so I started cleaning out this suffering from myself by doing more and more Vipassana, and I started challenging myself more and more. So when I was back in London, I was working in this organic shop. I was serving food, and I started doing fasting for 40 hours a week. Every Sunday, I would fast for 40 hours, and during these 40 hours, besides the time when I had to work and I was serving food without eating. But when I was at home, I was staying 40 hours without reading, without watching anything, without doing anything, exercise, nothing. I would just stay with myself for 40 hours, and I would observe what would go on with me. And that made me realize that I had this suffering and I needed to distract from it. Even though I was getting healthier distractions, Even though I stopped smoking, I stopped drinking, I was still needed to eat that chocolate, to drink that smoothie or whatever, just because I needed something to distract from. So another piece of this that I realized is that I started asking, why is it? I know I can clear that out by observing myself and be equanimous, but what's going on really? Why is that? Where is this suffering coming from? I realized this important thing coming from nonviolent communication, which was this needs, these emotions and needs, feelings and needs. So apparently we have this universal human needs that everybody has, and when they're not met, we don't feel good. And so what I realized is that in this society, so many of these needs aren't met. And now I just tell you some, like for example, empathy, community, inclusion, safety, justice, purpose, freedom, choice, authenticity. Oh, that a lot of human needs. And when those needs are not met and we don't feel good, what we do, we don't anymore analyze what's going on and look for that satisfaction of that need. We distract from it. As we were grown up, we learn like this. Like if a boy is crying, buying ice cream, giving a tablet to do. A tablet means like an electronic tablet. I mean, we got used to this. And so another piece of this is that I suffer. I know that I cannot stay with myself. I needed that distraction. I needed that pill. But why do I suffer? Because some of these needs aren't met. So yesterday I was watching a video on Dailymotion, and this advertisement came about this bloody pill which you take and you feel good. It's crazy. It's there. It's happening right now. Adolf Huxley, Brave New World. It's happening right now. There was an actual advertisement for this thing that you take and stimulates your serotonin, all these kind of chemicals, happiness chemicals, and make you feel happy. It's happening. It's going on. So to me now, we live in a moment where we are totally dependent on these things. And when we don't have these things, we don't feel good. And when we don't feel good, instead of looking why we don't feel good within, we're looking outside and we started finding things to blame. And so there is all this conflict going on because people don't feel good, because as long as you can access these distractions, you can drinking, smoking, taking drugs, as long as you have the money and the health to do it, it's all fine. When you start not having access to these things, like it's happening now, because people are losing their job, they don't have so much money to buy their distractions, their happiness tablet. Now they go and look at what's going on with this guy, what's going on with this guy, this is wrong, that is wrong, and they get in conflict. And when people get in conflict because they don't have access to their distractions, that's the world we are living. We are in constant conflict, we're not happy, and so that's a bit what I observe in the world right now. So what to do about it is to become free from these distractions. Like I did, I started removing these things and I became free from these things. Now I am independent from these things. No, I don't depend from no one. I don't care if you leave me without food, if you torture me. I've got something here that is my own freedom. And so when we live in a place where everybody is free in that sense, then there is no more conflict. And when there is no more conflict, there is happiness. We can focus on satisfying our needs and therefore live a very abundant life. So how to become free from these distractions, from these tablets of happiness, is by first of all observing and realize when is this happening. When we're doing something, we're scrolling on Facebook, or we want to eat something, or anything we want to do, like stop for a second and think like, am I doing this because I need it or because I'm trying to distract from some suffering? And if there is this suffering, what am I suffering? What am I feeling? What am I actually feeling? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it I'm bored? What is that is going on with me? What is that is going on in my head? And especially what is the need that is unmet? What is that I really need? Maybe I need some support. Maybe I need some interdependence, meaning I need to speak to someone. I need empathy. What do I need? And once I notice that I'm trying to distract from myself, and I know what to do about it, and I focus on the need, the unmet need, and I can strip away all this dependency, all these distractions, and I can become free. And once I'm free, I'm no longer a slave, because who controls those pills? Who controls these distractions? More and more the government control even our own food supply right now. And so if we are not independent, if we are looking for these tablets to be happy, we are dependent from the government. And in my word, that means slavery. And since the government not necessarily want what I want, not necessarily wants my happiness, my joy, my health, then I'm a slave from somebody who's doing his own business and not caring about what I want, what I do. And means that I'm a slave. That's all. So this is a little bit about what I want to speak about today. To come to the conclusion is that there are this confusion between happiness and these tablets of happiness. The real happiness is when you're free. You don't depend on this distraction, on these tablets. You don't depend on having to distract from yourself with watching a movie, eating something, smoking something, drinking something. Doesn't mean that you cannot do this thing, but it means that I am independent from these things, and then I can choose to do these things if I want to. But no one control my happiness, my freedom. And once we live in a world like that, we can live in a world of peace, abundance, and happiness. This is my message for today. If you want to get in touch, you know how to get in touch. Nowadays, you can talk to me in any kind of platforms. Send me a message if you want to share anything. And rather than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.